Hello everyone, welcome to our short learning session. Myself Monisha Dash, undergraduate student of Department of Economics, Shah Jalal University of Science and Technology. We are going to learn about the following topics. What is Mundell-Fleming Model? Mundell-Fleming Model monetary expansion under floating exchange rate, fiscal expansion under floating exchange rate, comparison between monetary and fiscal expansion of Mundell-Fleming Model, exchange rate overshooting, reasons for the exchange rate overshooting. First of all, we have to learn what is Mundell-Fleming model. Mundell-Fleming model is also known as ISLM-BOP model, is an economic model first set forth by Robert Mundell and Marcus Fleming. It is an extension of the ISLM model and describes the workings of a small economy open to international trade in goods and financial assets. The model provides a framework for monetary and fiscal policy analysis and explains the causes of the short-term fluctuation in aggregate income in an open economy. The Mundell-Fleming model portrays the short-term relationship between an economic's nominal exchange rate, interest rate, and the output. Now we are going to explain the monetary expansion under floating exchange rate. We start with the equilibrium point A at interest rate I0 and exchange rate R0. The BOP is in equilibrium. Capital A and small a lie on the BP and FF lines with the associated exchange rate money and product market clear at I0 Y0. On the TT line, there is a zero current account deficit at point E. For a permanent expansion of money, LM curve shifts rightward so that interest rate I has to fall. At the first glance, it might appear that I falls to I2 at the point C where the new LM intersects IS curve. Point C cannot be an equilibrium as the combination at C must involve substantial balance of payment disequilibrium to the right of BP line. Obviously, the exchange rate must depreciate. As the exchange rate depreciates, the competitiveness of the domestic production improves and the demand for home output increases, shifting the IS outwards to IS R1. Ultimately, the economy settles at B where the interest rate is at I1 and the external payments are back in balance as evidenced by the line marked BP R1. The external sector is turned to equilibrium by two mechanisms: the current account surplus created by the currency depreciation offset the capital account deficit for which the interest rate has to rise to new equilibrium level R1. The current account surplus at F is the net outcome of the positive influence, the rise in R, and the negative influence in the increase in Y. And here is a short explanation about the monetary expansion under floating rate. For a permanent expansion of the money, LM curve shifts rightward. Point C cannot be an equilibrium. As the exchange rate depreciates, the IS curve shifts rightward to the IS prime. At last, the economy settles at point B. The external sector is returned to equilibrium. There is a current account surplus at point F, and these are all the summary of the explanation of the previous figure. Now we are going to explain the fiscal expansion under floating exchange rate. This figure illustrates the effect of a pure fiscal expansion with an unchanged money stock. In this case, with a fixed money stock and constant price level, the LM curve is unmoved. Fiscal expansion shifts the IS curve to the right. The new IS cuts the original LM curve at point C with a higher interest rate that causes an influx of funds, in which it means that an emerging excess demand for domestic currency. The home currency must appreciate. Gradually, home goods become less attractive to foreigners, shifting the IS curve back to the left and pushing the interest rate some of the way back to its pre-expansion level. The process comes to an end when the combination of exchange rate and interest rate are such that domestic equilibrium is restored at point B on the line marked IS G1R1, LM M0 and BP R1. Note that the BP line shifts to the left because of the appreciation of home currency. In the external sector, the outcome at point F is a current account deficit, thanks to the both increase in income and particularly to the increase in the value of the home currency. And here is also the brief explanation of the fiscal expansion under floating rate. Fiscal expansion shifts the IS curve to the right, and the new IS curve curves the original LM curve at point C. Therefore, the home currency appreciates. The process comes to an end when domestic equilibrium is restored at point B. The outcome at point F is an current account deficit. There is a comparison between monetary and fiscal expansion. In the monetary expansion, depreciation is in the exchange rate, and in the fiscal expansion, there is an appreciation in the exchange rate. There is increase in income both monetary and fiscal expansion, but there is a fall in interest rate in the monetary expansion and a rise in the interest rate in the fiscal expansion. We can also see that there is an improvement in the current account balance of the monetary expansion and a deterioration of the current account balance of payment in the fiscal expansion. Here comes what is exchange rate overshooting. When the short-run equilibrium exchange rate exceeds the long-run equilibrium exchange rate, this phenomenon is known as the exchange rate overshooting. Initially, the economy is in full equilibrium at point A, if we see in the right side of the graph, where the G0 schedule intersects the M0 schedule. Let us now suppose the authorities unexpectedly expand the money supply X%. In the short run adjustment, an increase in the money supply results the rightward shift of the M0 to M1 schedule. The short run exchange rate R and the price level remains at P0. In the long run effects, domestic prices and money stock will rise proportionately, suppose by X%, which gives the long run price level. The long run equilibrium price is P bar and the exchange rate is R bar at point C. There are two reasons behind the movement from B to C. Reduction of the domestic interest rate, which will increase the expenditure. Here domestic goods will become relatively cheap compared to the foreign goods, ultimately causing shift of G0 schedule to G1 schedule. Now we all have a question in our mind: what is the reasons behind the exchange rate overshooting? Suppose given the domestic prices are fixed in the short run and the money supply expansion creates an excess of real money balances which are only willing to held at a lower domestic interest rate. According to the uncovered interest parity condition, a fall in the domestic interest rate means that international investors will require an expected appreciation of the domestic currency to compensate to the lower domestic interest rate. An expected appreciation of the domestic currency is only possible if the exchange rate depreciation in the short run exceeds the short run depreciation. And these are all the reasons behind the exchange rate overshooting. Thanks to all for watching this video. Hopefully it might help you all. And this is all for today. See you to the next.